Okay, so back to these guys again. I'm sorry, it's not Littlefoot, it's Smallfoot. Um, the Little Lights Studios have a ton of videos, and these very sweet Christians, most of them are fathers, and that girl there, they have just a ton of videos, and they actually go into almost an hour and a half of analyzing all of the things being said and presented through the visual format and the words, and specifically the songs of Smallfoot. And they will go through and very meticulously show you how your children's faith and adults as well is being undermined throughout this video, where they call into question the relative nature. No, not relative nature. The well, they believe that the Bible is false, and they don't believe it's a standard of truth. And they have declared through this movie, in this interesting little, we're just going to call it a parable to keep it simple. Uh, this movie on the cartoon level, and through the music, to get children to question the Bible, question the reality of the truth of the absolute standard, is what I'm trying to say. And they will just go through and meticulously point out a ton of different lines, so you know everything that they're saying, what's going on, how they're casting the character here, um, who is almost like a fake god unto himself, in a sense, that has these, rock tablets that they have made these commands on as a form of manipulation, control, built on lies, so on and so forth. And they really turn the pastors, the biblical entities, through hyper suggestion, as the enemy. And a lot could be said about this movie, but I highly recommend that you check out this video. And one thing that I really like that he talked about, I'm kind of just poking through here. He talked about pretty early on how, here's his face. You can see his face. He talked about how music is sort of the recording button in your brain through the memory storage of the hippocampus in your mind, so that when something is put to music, a concept, an idea, a sequence of thoughts, propaganda, brainwashing, or it could be good things, good, bad, whatever that data is, when it goes into your brain, when it is done through the form of music, your brain records it and it picks it up easier. And he explains, like, well, how did you learn your ABCs? Most of us, at least in America, all learned them by singing A, B, C, D, etc. So there is an effective way through those processes of getting a worldview into your mind through the songs, which are all throughout this movie. Smallfoot pushing and slapping Christianity, in a sense, that they go through in this panel discusses bringing light to the darkness. And they go through the words of the song, and it's really just a disinformation campaign through the cartoons to crack on the Bible, to question the Bible. And to, when you look at the interviews that are done, they're pretty clear in explaining that they're telling you that they found the truth, and the truth is that the biblical model is wrong. So I'm just kind of peppering through here a little bit. I'm not doing the audio because this is an hour and 12 minutes, but I just kind of want to introduce you to this channel because they have a lot of other things. So they look at what is the message being told you in the video games? What is the message being told to you in Marvel and the Avengers, for example? Let me go here for a second and show you. There's a lot of super pertinent information. You might want to go sub them. And I just find that they're very kind, sweet, loving, beautiful people that give you the verbiage to start to question what you're looking at. They told us that Harry Potter, that series of books that was so popular, they said it's no big deal. It is a matter of fantasy. But see, that's how they make the medicine go down, is through the fantasy. That's how they got the popular Shack book and movie put through. They said, I changed the way I viewed God through that narrative that they put through, saying, well, it's not real. It's entertainment, therefore it doesn't pose a threat. But what people are not understanding is that the threat is through the injection of entertainment in interesting ways. And so now you have a society that is so open to witchcraft, a society that is, especially the youth, that it was so exposed to those books. They witchcraft is just a normal thing for them now. And that's such a interesting use of that tool to make Christianity this damning evil thing in their mind, to say, well, we love our witchcraft. We love our Harry Potter. I mean, Ariana Grande was talking about this. We love all these things. It's all about us. It's all about hedonism. It's all about what we want. And this beautiful expression, they say, of witchcraft and the entertainment of the Harry Potter books. And so this generation that has now grown up has been predisposed to that entire worldview, which all of that, again, all these little puzzle pieces fit together with this coming world empire of rebellion and witchcraft, this global Babylon. And yes, it's the leadership, and yes, it's all the countries combined, and yes, it's all the religion that sows to that Babylonian religion and Kabbalah and Roman Catholicism, and leading people into the transhumanism, all these things that we've been talking about, thing after thing after thing. And they are using it in, they're knowingly using it in these entertainment cartoons and books and all this stuff, saying that it's a good thing. But really, people are naive. People are ignorant, which means without knowledge. People do not understand you are being programmed through these tools. And I want to show you this one last thing. I didn't quite get to this, so hold on just a second here. I want to show you the admission of this guy who's doing this interview. Well, let's just play it here.
Or is it?
Oh, that's nice. Real nice. Way to scar him for life.
Let me back that up. I'm sorry, I missed it. Excuse me. The idea is that these small feet humans don't exist, and these snowmen guys, yetis, whatever, discover that they're real. And you find out that the mean stonekeeper ever had created these rules on these stones to keep the yetis safe and in a different locale than the humans for their safety. And they're drawing parallels between that and the Bible, making the Bible the villain, the pastors who uphold the Bible the villain, and saying that we need to move past these old ways, these old ancient things, and so on and so forth. And so this is this carefully constructed, manipulated interview with these people in this movie. And listen to what he says.
Get every layer to it. You get it somehow.
Hey, don't be scared. Look, it's just a story.
Right, don't be scared. It's just a story. I'm still not quite getting the part where I want him to tell you that they know what they're doing. There it is. Okay. He says it will be there, that reminder. So he's talking about the message in the movie that's giving you an alternative perception of reality, because they're saying that we need to question the stones. We need to question the Bible. We need to question um, the use of those things to control us. So, transgenderism is in now because they're postulating the concept that they know the Bible is false, even though the Bible is not false. And they're putting it within these entertainment pieces and then reinforcing it. This is the thing, reinforcing it through the interviews. So if you didn't catch it all in the movie, that they're trying to drive you away from Jesus and to the Antichrist, and to just that whole system of rebellion, that whole system of what Mystery Babylon with the AI hooked to your flesh, what that whole attitude, what that whole religion, what that whole worldview, what that whole objective that God is going to punish through the 21 judgments, that whole direction that the whole earth has to go in, that you have rabbis like Rabbi Shapira who is telling people you need to get rid of Jesus. You have the spirit of Satan. You're the spirit of Edom. Jesus Christ is not the true Messiah, et cetera, and you need to come into the corporate salvation, and this guy plays a part and parcel of that corporate salvation and bringing all of humanity together into this rebellion, is what I'm telling you, through these venues where these actors are paid millions of dollars to do voiceovers and make movies and cartoons and stuff like that. And so he's telling you here that is that message that they want to put through questioning the Bible. That will be a reminder. Those things seep into you, right? He's saying you are being brainwashed. They seep into you, And then what else does he say?
Reminded, those things seep into you, no matter, even if you get even if you don't get every layer to it, you get it somehow.
You get it somehow. So through the story form, you are being given the seeds of rebellion, in other words. You're being programmed. So whether it's books, interviews, cartoons, TV shows, commercials, videos, songs, whatever, it's all being programmed into your brain, into your heart. And Jesus talked about the soil of your heart. He had the parable. He talked about there's 4 different kinds of soil, and the information that goes into that soil, 3 of those seeds do not produce the fruit that would bring a person to true saving faith in the one new mankind and rebirth. Okay, people are fake Christians. Some don't realize it, or don't care, or don't want to, or they're so deceived and they deceive others, so on and so forth. But Jesus said that there was one of the soils of the heart that was cultivated in such a way that when the seed was planted, it accepted it, it grew, and it formed this one new mankind in Christ that we're a part of, this new humanity, which is the goal of what God is trying to do. So the counter goal to that is a counter offer for humanity to go into a rebellion, to go into the way of Cain, to do their own thing, their own direction. And it is through these seemingly cute, silly, interesting, colorful, kid attractive type of movies, and the talent is the actors who are the puppets who work together with the entities of the fallen angels and the demonic element that are putting in an alternative worldview so that they question the Bible and they push you in another direction in this world system that James said, do not be friends with the world system that is ruled by the dark one. So it's a lot to drink in, but here is just more evidence of that.
Hey, don't be scared. Look, it's just a story. Everyone knows that the small foot isn't real.
Or is it?
So they also use the comedy as well. And there is a woman on here. Back it up, right here. They want to make sure that you understand. They want to make sure that you understand that this is their goal, to put in this brainwashing message that's the alternative that they label. What we're telling you is the truth. What the Bible is telling you is false. But they can't really prove that paradigm. That's just a suggestion of what they assert. That's their assertion. So they're sort of making you identify with this character that's questioning everything by him seeing this actual small-foot human. And then connecting that with the Bible and saying, well, the information the Bible tells you that keeps you safe and happy and so on and so forth, and everything that the Bible has to say is not a good thing, basically. So this black girl here, she says, the film was so interesting to me. I want to know what you think about the stone, comparing it biblically. And so she is wrapping those two things together. She's taking the story of this new quest for truth and dumping the biblical model in Smallfoot and connecting it with what they want you to understand is the criticism of the Bible. Now, remember, there are a variety of things you're not supposed to, through Marxist controlled speech, political correctness, you're not supposed to talk about. But when it comes to Christianity, it is all for them to criticize, to pull apart, to to rip apart in intolerance. They'll tell you it's all intolerance. And he's saying right here, I admit that some of these things have to be revisited. What the Bible says, we need to reject and move on. We need to revisit it, is what he's saying. Because we've changed things, therefore we want to reject the authority that tells us what is good for us, is what he's saying here.